Hi there, you're on Gossip Says channel. Enjoy watching, subscribe and like it. It's growing our community.
Story 1. 37M. At a crossroads. Endless fighting with 31F. Police threats and broken trust. Where do we go from here? I'm in quite a predicament with my relationship and could genuinely use your advice. I'm a 37-year-old male, and my girlfriend is 31. We're in Europe and have been living together for 14 months. While we've had many great times, our ability to communicate is fundamentally flawed. Even the most basic discussions escalate into full-blown arguments. We've sought help through couples counseling and have attended 4 sessions. However, it seems ineffective, especially since the strategies suggested to us, like taking time apart during arguments to cool down, are often outright rejected by her. It's frustrating because these methods are meant to help us navigate through our issues calmly, but she's not willing to cooperate. Recently, things took a turn for the worse. During an argument where she began to yell, I admittedly grabbed her t-shirt as she was moving around, urging her to lower her voice because of the neighbors. I immediately apologized, recognizing my mistake, but the situation deteriorated rapidly. She threw her engagement ring away, not for the first time, called off our relationship, and even involved the police, alleging I attacked her. This accusation is devastating and shocking to me. She made the call as I followed her down the stairs, trying to diffuse the tension. But after dialing, she hung up without filing any report, abandoning the threat. Still, the fact that it reached a point where police involvement was even a consideration has left me reeling. I'm at a loss, Reddit. I never envisioned involving law enforcement in our disputes. She's even resorted to physical actions in past disagreements, which prompted our therapy sessions. I never involved LE. I'm grappling with this new reality and the future of our relationship. My trust is deeply shaken, and I'm questioning everything. Is this where we draw the line? Friends have mixed opinions, suggesting either a complete breakup or acknowledging that her calling the police was a moment of high stress. Despite the chaos, we've had beautiful moments together, making this decision incredibly tough. When she returned home on the same day of the incident, she seemed uncertain about ending things. She even wanted to share the bed, which I refused, insisting on some space and offering to support her decision to move out if she feels unsafe. We live in my own apartment. It's bewildering because her actions contradict her words. So, here I am, feeling a mix of anger, sadness, and profound disappointment. What should my next move be? How do I proceed amidst this turmoil? Thank you for any advice you can provide. Story 2. I, 21M, am unsure and a bit frightened about how to tell my GF, 23F, that I love her. How should I go about it? So for some context, me and my GF have been dating, exclusively, for about 7 months, and have been officially BF/GF for about 4 months, and it has been amazing. There have been some ups and downs, and I can confidently say that this girl is something special. The type of person I would be more than happy to spend my life with. People tire me out, but her, I can spend 24/7 with her and not get tired of it, because we're comfortable with silence and happy to just be in each other's space, doing our own thing. She puts in effort, shows up, and is willing to care for me, even if when she's upset with me. She's not the most verbally expressive, but she makes sure I know she cares in the way she acts. Here is the thing that I seek advice for. I've found myself lately catching myself almost telling her I love her, saying it in my mind. More on this later. After pondering it for a bit, I determined I really do love this girl. It's not just infatuation. I can see all the ways she isn't perfect. She's got her share of flaws and shortcomings. But in spite of that, damn, I love her. I genuinely want her to be happy, to feel safe, protected, and loved. Even if it's not necessarily with me. But I really do want it to be with me, I find myself thinking about ways that I can make her life easier, or make her feel appreciated, or be there for her after a long day, even when it's not convenient for me, and it really seems like she does the same. But I've been hurt before. In my previous relationship, I told a girl I loved her, I did, and I never heard it back. In fact, me having said it came up during the breakup, from her end, which definitely has left me a bit jaded, and scared to be vulnerable in this way. I have no problem telling her I really care about her, or that I am always here, and I see a future with her. But to tell her I love her feels so hard, even though I very much so do. It comes to my mind, to the tip of my tongue, but then like gets stuck. So I guess I'm not entirely sure how to proceed. I want to tell her, but I'm scared it'll somehow push her away or cause the beginning of the end, because this has been my past experience, which I feel is irrational, considering her character. Should I push through the fear and tell her, or wait a bit longer and see if it starts to feel easier? I am very much so aware of how I feel about her, so I don't think I need clarity on if I love her or not. Anyway, thank you for any advice. Story 3. He 22M told me 27F. He is getting back together with his ex right after a 15-hour date. Sorry if this is long, I'm still in shock. Basically, I met this guy around 3 weeks ago. We went out on 3 dates so far, then this happens. Basically, on the first date, he said he wanted to get to know me and eventually get into a relationship. On that date, I asked him if he was seeing anyone else. He promised he wasn't. The reason I had to make sure is because I have been lied to before and got in trouble with certain dates' secret guess. We ended up going to 2 places that day. We ended up holding hands and making out a couple of times throughout the date. The next day, he asked to go out again. I was extremely tired, so I told him next time. The day after, we decided to go on a date again. The energy on this date suddenly shifted. We went to this dancing place, and he told me he was shy to dance around people as he didn't want people being uncomfortable with PDA. I found this very suspicious because just the other day, we were going full PDA and he didn't seem to care. I told him to be honest if he lost interest or if anything was bothering him. He denied it and said he is still very interested and is still getting to know me. So we kiss a few times and I leave. Third date happened about a week afterwards because he was busy with classes and I was busy with some plans I made prior to meeting him. Third date, we wanted something a bit more intimate, and since he doesn't really like PDA, he asked if we could spend time alone this time and I agreed. So we get this hostel and I told him I am still uncomfortable with having sex. I just wanted to spend time and get to know him first. He agreed and said he would never do anything I wasn't comfortable with. Well, we get there. Everything is going great. He is super respectful. Didn't try any sexual advances to get me to have sex. I get us alcohol. We drink. We play drinking games, etc. However, he decided he wanted to connect his phone to the projector to listen to music. He connects it on screen share, and suddenly he opens his messaging app by accident, and my heart suddenly sunk to the floor. His top message was from a contact saved as Babe. He even clicked open the chat by accident, but I couldn't quite see the messages. He was quick and quickly swiped the messenger away. He then looks at me checking to see if I saw it. He then tries to make small talk, asks me what songs I want to listen to, when he saw my demeanor change. I then say, "So are we just going to ignore what I just saw?" I could see the panic on his face and the nervous laugh proceeds. He then tells me it's his ex. She messaged him out of the blue the day before. He says they haven't spoken in weeks and he didn't feel the need to change the contact because he thought they weren't going to message again. At this point, I didn't know what to quite believe. He tried reassuring me that he wasn't lying and that he no longer has feelings for her. At this point, we argue for quite a bit and I told him, if he is lying to me, he should just admit it. I told him that I wouldn't have spoken to him at all had I known he had a GIF. He promised me that was not the case. I asked him to open the chat if he had nothing to hide. He stutters and starts saying, "Why? You already saw it anyway." Eventually, I let it go and decided to give him the benefit of the doubt because I have never once seen him texting her on our dates, and he never seems to have battery on his phone to have contact with a GIF. We ended up spending 15 hours together, our longest date. He didn't seem to want to leave. We talk, listened to music, play games, drank, made out, got more intimate, etc. However, we didn't have sex. I honestly had such a good time, but that contact was still on the back of my mind. And he kept asking me to ask him anything for clarification, if I still felt uncomfortable with what I saw earlier. Afterwards, we just cuddled and went to sleep. Fast forward, We have a goodbye kiss at the end when I was about to get in a cab. We continued texting after we left as I was making my way home. I get home and we continue texting each other. I asked him if he was heading out tonight. He says no, he is off to sleep. He knew I had a birthday party to attend. So I tell him if he changes his mind and is going out, he should let me know because I might be heading to place we frequent. He says no, he won't be going out. So then after a while, I get the dreadful message. I think I am getting back into a relationship with my ex. I was shocked. I was with him just a few hours ago for 15 hours straight. I asked him, why did I meet me today if I knew you were going to get back? He just replies, I don't know. Just 3 words. Wow. This is why I'm mad. I live 2 hours away from him, and I made the journey to see him multiple times, and I ordered Uber the whole way to and back. I paid for the majority of the third date, over $400 spent, and I canceled my plans that he knew of to spend those 15 hours with him because he didn't want to leave. He knew I also had an important birthday that I told him about for weeks, and he decides to send me that message right before I was about to get ready for the birthday party. On top of all that, he continuously kept asking me to introduce him to all my friends, so I did. I feel so stupid. He even was trying to be invited to my friend's birthday and my birthday party the coming week. So he was trying to get so ingrained into my life when he had plans to leave. The worst part, I ended up going to the birthday party feeling low after I got that message from him. Afterwards, my friends made a last-minute plan to go to a club at around 5 a.m. 2 hours away from where the main party was at, and guess who I see with his ex-girlfriend after he told me he wasn't going to be out. He saw me and was shocked because I originally told him the party I was going to be 2 hours away from the club, so he wasn't expecting to see me there. We made eye contact and he tried to smile and say hi to me, but I could tell he saw my cold demeanor and tried to avoid me. The funniest part is, he told me he broke up with his ex because she said she was staying home and his friends saw her out in the club after lying to him. He told me he hates liars. He can never trust her again. Now, I feel like he was the one who was caught in the club by her friends and they broke up instead of the other way around. I don't know what to believe anymore. I ended up ignoring him and just dancing with my friends the whole night. We haven't spoken after I saw him out in the club with his ex. I just feel horribly used. Has anyone dealt with something like this? What should I do? I am mad at it being done the same day. Like I feel like getting back together with someone is a long thought process, not something someone decides on the spot. So he must have known before the date that he already had plans to get back together. Piss. Sorry for any typos or grammatical errors. Was typing this on the spur of emotions. Story 4. Am I, 24M, the asshole for telling my GF, now EX, 25F? I didn't want to talk anymore on her birthday after she canceled our dinner reservation. My ex, 25F, and I, 24M, had problems in the last months of our 3-year relationship. Our fights became more frequent. She ultimately felt that I wasn't doing enough for our relationship, and I felt that she didn't respect my needs for space in order to support her and our relationship in a sustainable way. Because of this and some stressful, non-relationship events that happened to her recently, she wasn't sure if she wanted to celebrate her birthday with me. However, when I asked if I could make a dinner reservation for us that night, 5:30 p.m., she agreed as long as our relationship conflicts didn't affect it. On her birthday, we agreed to leave from my place at 4:30 p.m., since I live closer to the restaurant. Around 11 a.m., she texted me asking if she could bring stuff over in case we felt good about spending the night together. I replied that I would prefer to spend the night at her place because mine was messy, and I would like to clean up before anyone came over. After this, a fight started. She was triggered by my response and felt that this was a dynamic shift in our relationship. Specifically, she thought we were in a place where we were comfortable sharing in each other's messes. I felt that this was another case of her not respecting my expressed needs and that it wasn't a shift in our relationship. I was asking for one night not spent at my place. For context, we almost always ended up spending time together at my place, whether it was after work, on the weekend, whenever. Typically, I asked where she wanted to meet, and she would say my place. Recently, I had been asking for us to have a more scheduled time of when we're going to spend time together. I realized that our current habits were causing me to feel tired and anxious because I didn't have enough time to recover energy or get chores done. She pushed back against any changes because she felt like she wasn't asking too much. After a couple hours of arguing over text, I realized I was too angry to discuss appropriately and told her I couldn't continue to argue. But we could plan another day to resolve things. She said she didn't think she could go to dinner unless we resolved the fight first. So we compromised to talk in person before going to dinner. However, around 3 p.m., 1.5 hours before we agreed to talk again, she texted me asking to cancel the reservation and re-engage the argument. I expressed how this made me angry that she was not respecting the agreement we made and said I didn't want to talk to her the rest of the day. She replied, "I don't want to be with you anymore." We met recently, and she told me that she was furious that I gave up on fixing things that day, and she took that to mean I didn't care about our relationship. My view is that it was clear I cared. I made the reservation and compromised for her to feel good about going, and she disrespected the agreement we made and decided to cancel the dinner. So I was right to believe that she couldn't meet my needs that day. Should I have done things differently? I would appreciate your opinions and can provide more details as necessary.